Hi guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm gonna be showing you how to catch a high probable setup and how a high probable setup looks to me. So let's begin by drawing our range. So we have our strong high, and here we have our strong low. So we have A and B. In this example, I will expect B to get taken since we are bearish. So in order to me to take a high probable setup, I will simply wait for all of the internal to get swept. So in this case, I will wait price from taking out all of the internal, reach a high time frame point of interest, and I will just execute my trade to the external, right? But what comes on our mind when we're actually taking those type of setup lives? We will have multiple factors going on, making us doubt of this being internal range liquidity or simply a point of interest. Let's say in this case, we have a high time frame key level that's line up with this zone right here, and just below it we have something that we can consider simply be internal range liquidity being fed into it. So we will have some reason to actually take a short from there, right? But this will require a more in-depth analysis in order to make able to catch it and have reasons behind to validate it as a high probable setup. I prefer simplicity while talking about my edge and the setup I love to take. This to me looks like a more complex example. You will see me catch those type of setup in a small amount of percentage, since the other types that we just saw, that will just simply wait this level to get swept and took a short just above it, right? But why? Because they look more simple to understand, simple to see. And while I'm running a funded account or a personal one, I prefer taking setups that looks high probable to me and looks simple to see and to understand, right? And that's what I'm talking about. If I see some setup like this, I will just execute. I won't think about it. Taking those type of setup will guarantee you at least 80 to 90% of probabilities that if you have marked up your range right, you will get to TP. If you get stopped out taking those type of setup, simply will mean that your range will be marked up simply wrong, or on the less percentage I will talking about, 10% of the setup simply price will just takes you out even if the range is correct. So it will just stops you out by a pip and then drops. Sometimes you can anticipate it, sometimes you can't, and you will just get a loss by your account. And there is nothing you can do about it because it's simply statistic going on, right? So let's jump onto a live example on how a high probable setup looks to me. Here we can say that we have multiple factors going on. For example, we have order flow and mitigation that is still intact, and then price leaves all of this zone unmitigated, right? So we have a strong high here, took some liquidity, broke structure, and here a strong low that took liquidity, broke structure. We could anticipate this pullback because we are coming into an untested strong low. See how it took liquidity, broke structure, and price never comes in. To approach this zone, price also makes a T2V2, creating inducement and took it out. So since we are bearish, each of these strong highs should hold till the overall target should get fulfilled, right? For example, let's say that this was our overall target, right? So we have our range marked up. Let me actually mark it up better for you. And we have what we can consider internal range liquidity. We can jump onto multiple time frame to see in which time frame looks better to us. Let's say we want to check the 15-minute. We don't have pretty much anything going on. On the 5 is pretty clear to me. Let's go. Even on the 3-minute is more clear to me. Looks like more easy and simple to understand. So here we have our imbalance fin price action. that is also the closest PI to this liquidity, and price tries to take the internal range liquidity and then fails, right? This is also a point of interest on the lower time frame, because if we jump on the 1 minute, we will see this level simply as a strong high, right? That will most likely lines up with the key level. But since we look to high probable setup, I will just expect this high to get taken and wait for price reaching a high time frame point of interest, right? So what to do in case price just reacts and took out the structure? Simply accept it. You're not able to catch all of the setup on the market. That's why I look only to what looks high probable to me. Because in order to make a decent amount of profit, you simply need a 5% each day, and consider that if you're able to make a 5% each day, that's a huge amount of money. Still, you are on a funded account or even a middle account, talking about a personal one. So once I see this, I just mark out my PI and I just simply wait. If price will come to my zone, I will execute it straight without even thinking about it. If price does, for example, reacts and drops, I will simply accept it and I will go into the next one. I don't have to rush trades and chase profit. I just wait for price to play out what I consider a high probable in order to build an edge. That's what I do, and that's what you're going to learn into this course. So for this video is all. See you into the next one.